So hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. There's a lot to talk about regarding the episode that we just saw. Like a lot. Before I get started, I might talk about last week's episode a little bit more towards the end as well. I was going to do a review video for that and then I just didn't. Like, look, shit happens. Life is just up in the air, a big ball of weirdness these days. But, yeah. If there's a problem with copyright ever, the link to the video where you guys will be able to view... I can't talk! If there's a problem with copyright, I will put the link to where you can view the reaction in the description of these little chat videos, so just keep an eye on that. Make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well, just because it's an easy place to keep up with me and to know what's going on. The links are all down below. We'll talk about that more towards the end of the video. But for now, let's talk about the Daryl and Carol episode, because, or should I call it the Daryl and Leah episode? Right. So I said in the video... I still stand by it. Look, I said what I said. I think that it was a very odd choice to bring in a character in an episode, have them get romantically involved with Daryl and then disappear. It was rushed, it felt clunky, it didn't really feel organic to me, and as so many people pointed out in the comments, quite rudely, at points may I add, yes, there was time jumps. I made reference to the time jumps in the reaction video, and yet people still told me that I just didn't understand. We'll get to that in a minute. So the timeline of the relationship and them knowing each other was a bit longer than 5 minutes, as I sarcastically stated, but people just don't seem to pick up on sarcasm these days. So yeah, they knew each other for quite a while. They were both living out in the forest. They had a lot of similarities together. I do like how they met. I do like the different stages of them getting to know each other deeper and deeper. I did quite enjoy that. I thought Leah as a character was nice, and I did like her up until a certain point. I do like that we got to learn her backstory. I do like that we got to learn where she came from and why she is the way she is. I love that she was so similar to Daryl in the aspects of she's living on her own out in the middle of a forest. Very lone wolf. Very lone wolf. Very old school Daryl. And I guess modern day Daryl too, because when his brother... Every time Daryl calls Rick his brother, I get an extra 3 days extended onto my life expectancy. It's great. Him out searching for his brother, having lost him, and then her having lost her found family, and her not having a stable family growing up. Daryl could relate, I guess, on a lot of levels. They were well suited. That's not the problem that I had. And Daryl is my favourite character, yes. Some people sarcastically pointed out it's jealousy. Why would I be jealous of a fictional character? People are so fucking weird. I don't know. I've followed the show for a very long time. Daryl is somebody who's never had an on-screen romantic interest or partner in 10 seasons. 10 seasons of nothingness, and then you're going to give us him meeting somebody, getting with them in all of this transpires over 42 minutes. So as a viewer, it's a lot to take in on your first viewing. For them, in the story fucking world, in the Walking Dead universe, it was a lot longer. Obviously, they got to spend time with each other and it was extended, but I still just think it's fucking weird. And it was such an odd way to present it to us through flashbacks. Really? It wasn't even oh, Daryl and this girl, they got together. They're together now. They're cute. It's no. By the way, what you missed is years back, he got with someone and then she fucked off. What? That ultimatum that she gave him in the kitchen was just so fucking weird to me. I'm not really somebody for ultimatums. I don't think you should ever have to choose between people. There's enough room in your life for everyone. And if someone tells you it's me or them, then you should be skedaddling the fuck away. That's my opinion. But her saying you're always out looking for your brother. What's the deal? Do you belong out looking for him? Do you belong back with your people? Do you belong with me? Choose. I understand that maybe he wasn't exactly there mentally with her. And maybe he was feeling a bit distant, feeling a bit whatever. There are other ways to go about addressing that than being pick. You know what I mean? That really threw me off, and it seemed kind of out of character for her from the little that we know of her, because we've only known her for 42 minutes of screen time, so we don't know a whole lot. I stand by it. I think it's odd, and a lot of people were saying that, but a lot of people were saying it was about time that Daryl got a woman or got a whatever. Back when I started watching the show, I was what was I? I was 18, 19, I was a late teen. I liked the idea of Daryl getting with somebody and everything's all fucking romantic and you want to see the big dramatic romance storylines. But I feel like Daryl was the kind of character that everyone could kind of see themselves reflected in a little bit. And his sexuality just never really came up. It never really was a thing or was explored, and I think that helped a lot of people, regardless of your background or your sexuality or whatever the fuck. He was a character that you could just kind of gel with. So in a way, I'm like, yeah, I guess it's kind of cool that they finally put him with someone, but at the same time, there's a lot of people disappointed, and I get that. I've really made it no secret that I loved the idea of him and Connie getting together, and I do feel like that they were kind of leaning towards that. And then Connie disappeared, and then this happened, and it's like a lot of people think that he's going to get with Carol as well, but then this happened. It's like, I just don't fucking know. I feel like Daryl, he is my favourite character, so I sometimes I'm like, am I just too close to this? Do I just love him a lot? Like, I'm no story writer, I'm no script writer, I'm no expert in this field, but I do know his character, and I do know certain things about stuff, I guess, to know enough to be like, I don't like that, it didn't work for me. Personally, for me, it didn't work. I just found it odd. Now look, she seems like a cool enough character, cool enough girl. I'm guessing she's going to come back into the storyline later on, which is why they needed to shove her backstory in somewhere. So we got this episode. It was nice getting to see Dog's backstory, and it was weird knowing that Daryl didn't name him Dog and that it was Leah. Maybe they are meant to be together, because if there was somebody else on this planet who looked at a dog and went, I will call you Dog, I would have said that would have been Daryl's choice, but the fact that it wasn't, maybe they're meant to be together. I don't know. A lot of people have been saying that she left because there's a possibility that she's pregnant, and I'm like, what? That's a stretch. Okay. I do kind of see though how that could happen if she woke up one day and she was like pregnant, and then Daryl's like, well, I'm off to look for my brother again. I could see why she'd snap and the hormones would come out to play. The Daryl and Carol scene at the end was overdue. I feel like they have like a big kind of heart to heart every now and again, and they hadn't had one in a while, so it was kind of bound to happen. I think he was like really harsh on her, like super harsh, out of character harsh for him in dealing with her. But some things did need to be said, and tough love sometimes is needed. He was really harsh though. So Daryl's the kind of character though that throughout the seasons there's been some decisions made regarding him that just has me going, but why? And this episode was one of them. I'm not even gonna lie, it was one of them. Don't get me wrong, I adored the episode. I love the smaller scale episodes where it's very much based on two or three people, a very small group, very story driven, dialogue driven, all emotional and whatever. I love those kinds of episodes. Still is my favourite episode of The Walking Dead of all time. I know that's an unpopular opinion. That is the hill I will die on. One thing that really pisses me off though is when, and I don't do it that often, I generally try to stay really impartial to things, or I try to stay in the middle and see everyone's point of view, but I hate it when I do voice an opinion on something and then I'm told I'm wrong or that I didn't understand. I don't need the show explained to me. I've been in this fandom for quite some time. A bitch is invested. There was a few people telling me that I didn't understand that there was time jumps, and I'm like, one, that's just insulting, and two, I make reference to it in the video, so I think you're the one that doesn't understand or you're not listening. But yeah, I said what I said. I liked the episode. I thought that the acting was incredible. The speech and the dialogue and stuff in this was really well written. I liked a lot of the shots that we got. I liked the feel and the vibe of it. It took me back to the older, super small scale kind of episodes, and I really did enjoy it. But the decision making and the story arcs splitting in what they were doing, I was like, I don't know. I don't know what led you to this point that made you make this decision. I just think it's weird that after a character has like no on-screen romance, that it all happens in 42 seconds. There's no build-up. There's no simmer. There's no little glances and like the brushing of hands. But I love a slow burn. When it comes to romance and stuff like that in shows, I love a slow burn. I want to be tortured for like a season and then have it just... I don't know what that was supposed to be. So having that all transpire over 42 minutes for me was just like not it, but that's my opinion. Great episode, great acting. I'm loving this little section of the season. I like it a lot. I like that we are getting a lot of backstory. We are getting a lot of more intimate kind of things. I'm most excited for Here's Negan. Not even gonna lie. I'm most excited for Negan's episode. I think I don't know how they're gonna be able to make it work on camera and do it in such a way. I'm just interested to see how they do it. I'm just so excited for that, and I'm like, gimme. But yeah, you guys, that is just my thoughts and opinions on that. If you guys want to see more content from little old me. There is a link to my Patreon down below where I do reactions to a whole bunch of shows. More recently, I started up reactions for Daredevil and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I'm starting the Star Wars universe of movies this week, I believe. So that's another thing that's coming up. And I do reactions to like The 100, Doctor Who, Riverdale, Shadowhunters, all of that. And also there's extended versions of my Walking Dead reactions going up over there. So again, the link is down below along with my Twitter and my Instagram if you want to connect and say hello or whatnot. So yeah, thank you guys for listening, for chatting. Leave your opinions down below as to how you felt this episode kind of fared in your rank of expectations. And I am happy that we're being given these bonus episodes. And I do kind of feel like they're needed. They're allowing a little bit of breathing space to fill in a lot of the blanks before we go on to season 11. So I am very excited. I'm pumped for the rest to see what we have coming up next. I think Aaron and Gabe's episode is the next one. And I'm like, yes! So you guys, that is it for this week. Thank you. What's my outro? Thank you and bye. I don't think that's it.